Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. And as you can see, we have a very special guest. We are now officially the Balos, as my username describes us. There's now two of us. This is my husband, Abubakar.
Hello guys, how's everyone doing?
And if you're new here or you've just stumbled upon our channel, please make sure you subscribe, like, and comment to be able to be in the loop on all of our new updates. So today's video is going to be another pregnancy update. There's been a lot of things that have gone on since my last update, which I just got up, I think, to you only a couple of days ago. But there has been a lot of juicy details that have come out since that last video, so we're gonna jump right in. So let's start this back from my 17-week update and get you up to current. So I'm currently 22 weeks. I'll be 23 weeks tomorrow. I had been feeling pretty normal. I hadn't had any kind of new symptoms, just the similar back pain, the weird taste in my mouth, but nothing really weird. I've been feeling pretty much like myself for the whole second trimester, I would say, really. And then 2 weeks ago, I had fallen asleep on a Friday night around 7 o'clock. I woke up at midnight starving and decided that I was going to seamless myself a burger. So I ordered seamless. The seamless got here close to 12:45 in the morning, and I was just sitting at my dining room table eating it, watching YouTube videos, and I suddenly felt really nauseous, and I felt like this sense of, I just felt like I shouldn't be eating this burger anymore. There was something I was like, I don't think I should be eating this. It's making me feel really weird. So I stood up. At this point, everyone was sleeping. I walked into my room, and by the time I got to my room, my legs were completely like jello. They could barely support me, and I was walking kind of right through this space where we're sitting right now, and I was trying to call for my husband, but I could barely talk, and I was just like, babe? And he was asleep on the bed right here. He jumped up right as I was pretty much collapsing on the ground. So he caught me. I didn't like fall and hit myself or anything. He laid me down gently. I couldn't hear him, and I had tunnel vision where it was like really dark around the sides and just like very narrow line of vision in the middle. And it was getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and I completely blacked out for a very short amount of time, probably like 3 seconds. And then I was kind of just really shaken and weird. And my husband like was just like, lay here for a little while, like just calm down. I was like, I have to use the bathroom. He brought me to the bathroom, and then in the bathroom I was just sitting there. He gave me a banana, I had some water, and we were just trying to figure out what we should do. And I didn't feel dehydrated, and I've been dehydrated before. I fainted due to dehydration probably 3 years ago, and I know how that felt. That felt very different than this. When I was dehydrated, I couldn't sweat, I couldn't pee, I couldn't do anything that required any kind of fluid. And right when I passed out, I instantly had to pee, and I was sweating. I was sweating on the toilet, just like really like moist and gross. So I knew I wasn't dehydrated, but there was something obviously really weird, and I just thought that my blood pressure had dropped, because that's what it felt like. Couldn't really find my pulse. I just felt very weak and very tired, and it just seemed like my blood pressure had dropped. He wanted to take me to the hospital. I didn't feel that I needed to go to the hospital. I know that people kind of faint and get dizzy spells when they are in their second trimester. It's not that uncommon. Michael was kicking the whole time, so I felt like he was in a good spot, and I just felt like I just needed to calm down. I literally live 4 blocks away from a hospital, so if we felt that things had escalated, we could easily get to the hospital in no time at all. So in a very little amount of time, I started to feel back to myself and just needed to rest. And I laid down in bed with my snuggle, my body pillow, and just kind of drifted off into sleep. I woke up like every hour. Every time I woke up, he was like staring at me. He like stayed up all night and was just making sure that everything was okay. It was a weird and scary moment, but I didn't feel scared like for Michael or for myself. I just felt like kind of shaken up. And you didn't feel scared for the baby either, right? Like we felt like...
I wasn't thinking about the baby at all. I was just thinking about, your safety.
And I honestly just looked at it as an isolated situation.
Yeah.
In hindsight, though, when I think about it, we should have gone to the hospital.
Yeah,
because we didn't know what could have been going on.
Yeah, definitely.
We 100%, if that were to happen again today, I would go to the hospital in 10 seconds flat. I think that there's like, my family's like so weird about going to the hospital. Have you ever noticed that? We're like so weird. My mom's sick right now. She like won't go to the hospital. We're like, we think that we can just stick it out, but with me being pregnant, it's like not the time to have that kind of stubbornness. So in hindsight, if anyone watching this does have an incident, I would 100% say go to the hospital. Definitely. Do not do what we did. Luckily, everything was okay. Michael is still growing and flourishing and bigger than ever, so we had no problems, but I would 100% recommend going to the hospital if you pass out. So at that point, we made an appointment with my OBGYN, the one that we had been visiting since we were about 8 weeks. We made an appointment with her for the following Monday, so that was Saturday morning. We went to the doctor on Monday and just kind of gave her an update on what was going on. So as soon as we got there, they did the usual weight and blood pressure, and my blood pressure was 150/80, which is mildly high. That's in the pre-hypertension or mild hypertension.
Yes, mild hypertension.
So it's hypertension, but mild hypertension. Yeah. I think that hypertension is anywhere from 140 to 159 is in the mild category, and I was 150 for the upper number. The lower number, though, was not high at all. 80 is not high. I think it's considered high. 90. Yeah,
90. Anything. Yeah.
So the upper number was high. Yeah, and the lower number was fine. There was nothing wrong with the lower number.
Yeah.
But I've always said this. I get really nervous when I go to the doctor, especially now that I'm pregnant and I know that they're taking my blood pressure. It makes my heart beat out of control because I'm like worried that my blood pressure is going to be high. It's like a perpetuating cycle where I'm concerned that my blood pressure is going to be high, so it makes me nervous, and then my blood pressure is high. So it was a little bit high. The nurse was like, was your blood pressure high last time you came in? I said it was high in the beginning, then you came back and took it again and it was lower. And she was like, oh, okay. Well, it's high again right now. So I was like, okay.
She was supposed to come back the second time around and take it, but she did not do that.
Yeah, because the reason why they come twice is because by the end of the appointment, I've kind of settled back into my normal state.
Yeah.
And then that's when they see that it goes down. So I think that there should just be kind of like, that's what the thing about being at an OBGYN is, that there's no individuality to your appointment. It's just like very standard procedure. But instead, they continue to take my blood pressure in the very beginning of the appointment when I'm all riled up, because that's their protocol. That's their procedure. It doesn't matter how I feel about it. So, but anyway, the doctor came in and was just asking how everything was since my last appointment, how I was feeling. Had she already made a recommendation for me to go to the high-risk doctor? And she said everything kind of casually, very nonchalant. And I was like, no, you never made a recommendation of me seeing a high-risk doctor. She was like, well, based on your blood pressure, you know, I think that we should put you in touch with a high-risk doctor. And in that moment, I was just kind of like, this is very interesting to me. Like, it was like all very sudden, that because I had mildly high blood pressure, which we know that if she took it again, it would be lower. You're going to categorize me as a high-risk pregnancy at this point. Like, that just seems a little strange. So she is writing the referral, asking me about anything else that has happened. And I said, well, yeah, I fainted on Saturday. And I kind of walked her through the whole story. And she was like, yeah, it sounds like your blood pressure dropped. Yeah, that makes me kind of feel like you're at risk of developing preeclampsia. So in that moment, my heart just completely sunk to my gut, because if I have preeclampsia, that's 1000% high-risk pregnancy. That will completely obliterate all of my plans of having a natural birth and completely disqualify me from being able to be in the birthing center that I wanted to be in. So she told me that I had to do a 24-hour urine test to test the proteins in my urine. And based on that, plus my blood pressure, that would kind of give us the verdict if I have preeclampsia. Obviously, that was like really devastating.
Very alarming.
Yeah, I just felt immediately very concerned. Not so much for me at that point, it was really about Michael. And she also said, this is the part that really like threw me for a loop, is that, you know, if you have preeclampsia, you know, we'd probably have to do a C-section, deliver you a couple of weeks early.
Yeah, I think she messed herself up by saying that, because being that she said from the beginning she wanted to do the natural birthing thing, and I don't think she was on board with that. We did the blood pressure test, and that's when everything went south. I think she had already made up her mind that she wanted to like deter her from doing the natural birthing thing, and this was her way of getting her to feel discouraged.
Well, that's the other thing that she said was, if it gets higher, we're gonna put you on blood pressure medication. So like she like escalates things like very quickly. I think there was another situation where she did something similar where she was just like escalating the situation like before there was anything to back it. I hadn't even been diagnosed with preeclampsia yet. I still have not to this day. She's already talking about blood pressure, C-sections, and she just kind of was like, also because of your fainting episode, I want you to get an EKG done with this heart doctor. And I'm just like,
which is more money coming out of our pocket because we have a high deductible, and we have to hit that deductible in order for us to be covered.
Get our coverage.
And I mean, they don't care about that, but overall we care about that. For the doctor to just, you know, categorize her as being
having preeclampsia.
Yeah, and
like on the paper that she gave me for the EKG, it says my diagnosis is chronic high blood pressure or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't even look at that. You see, I think after the urine, we just put in the urine exam, the urine test. After that, I think we're just going to switch doctors because it just doesn't make any sense. At this point, she's just trying to set us up for failure, and I think that my wife and I are just over it. We went to her thinking that she would be someone who we can come to for anything, in regards to my wife, but that's not the case. So now we just have to find another way to get out of this situation. So once everything is done, we'll figure that out. But overall, I didn't tell her I was a personal trainer, and being a personal trainer, if my wife had high blood pressure, that wouldn't be an issue. We'll get on top of that. We change the diet, the way she eats, and then we implement the exercise regimen, which can help her decrease her blood pressure, and her heart won't have to work as hard as it's working now. My blood pressure exactly 1 week later was 126/82. See, so it changes. If the doctor had taken her blood pressure after her visit, it would have been fine. Like we would have been like, okay. After the reading, okay, maybe she has high blood pressure and we need to monitor it, and you guys need to do that. And another thing is that the doctor never said, oh, you have my hypertension, you should, exercise, change your eating habits. She never said anything like that, ever. She never said anything on how to lower my blood pressure. She was just like, very matter of fact, like, you have high blood pressure, and if it doesn't go down, you're gonna have to take medication. Never said, watch your sodium. Are you drinking enough water? Like, never asked anything other than, never asked anything. No, she didn't. That's like the real big issue for me is I just feel like the trust is broken. Yeah, and I feel that, and it's not anything against doctors, because I feel like we can come across as we're like bashing doctors in their profession, and that's not the case. That's not the case whatsoever. It's just that I've happened to have 2 doctors during this pregnancy that did not give me this service that I'm really looking for at this point in my life. So whatever happens, whatever the case may be, if I have preeclampsia, if I don't have preeclampsia, I just need some support. I need someone who I feel like has my interest, Michael's interest at heart, and I don't feel that way with her. So that's the part that's really disheartening to me. I was really devastated after that appointment. I was literally sobbing in the street, like with my husband on the phone with my mom, like so upset about this whole situation. I've never had an issue with blood pressure. By the way, I'm not saying that she's wrong. I'm not saying that there's no way I have preeclampsia. That's not what I'm saying at all. There's a chance that I have preeclampsia. But the high blood pressure thing is the biggest issue in her, just categorizing her as, as mild hypertension, and, just saying that she has those things when it hasn't been proven yet. Yeah, she basically diagnosed me before the diagnosis, which causes me to be stressed, which is another factor to high blood pressure. I have to look into everything once I hear back
about the urine test. I think that's when we'll go back to the drawing board and figure out what will the plan be. I mean, for me, just like 1 week of us cooking more, watching my sodium, and my blood pressure was significantly different when I went to the doctor last Saturday. I don't think that it's really an issue of my blood pressure being high. I think that I'm being captured in weird points in time and that it's being reflected in my blood pressure. I don't know. Obviously, I'm really bummed. And I don't know. I don't want to feel cornered into any kind of birth. That's what's really the most disheartening part, is that she already said that I would probably have to have a C-section a couple of weeks prior to the due date. So not only is she signing me up for a C-section, but she's also like inducing my labor. It's like very strange to me. But we'll definitely keep you posted. I'm anxious to hear the results back from the doctor. Usually the lab posts them directly through the patient portal. So I'm hoping to have some results in the next couple of days. It will be 1 week on Tuesday since we submitted it, so hopefully we'll get that back soon. But yeah, we'll just keep you posted. Let us know if any of you had preeclampsia or been in a similar situation. Is there anything that we can be doing to kind of reduce the chances or reverse anything that's already been done? And we'll see you in our next update. Bye.
Shoot me. Shoot me.